Hey everyone, I'm Carl Azus and this is CNN 10. So happy to have you watching wherever you're watching from. Believe it or not, we are not starting off today's show with the coronavirus report, though we will have an update on that for you in a couple minutes. First though, we want to bring you up to speed on the US presidential election process. The primaries and caucuses that are scheduled to be going on now help determine who will actually appear on the presidential ballot. And though the state of Ohio canceled its primary earlier this week, contests for Democrats were still held in Arizona, Florida, and Illinois. And in all three of those primaries on Tuesday, former Vice President Joe Biden won, and he expanded his lead over U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont. When we say lead, we mean the number of pledged delegates each candidate is expected to get from winning these primaries and caucuses. And when we produced this show, former Vice President Biden had an estimated 1,086 delegates, while Senator Sanders had 772. Sanders' campaign manager said the senator would be having conversations with his supporters in the weeks ahead about the state of his campaign. There were also questions about the state of the primaries themselves because the next two scheduled contests in Georgia and Puerto Rico have been canceled due to concerns over coronavirus. Meanwhile, Florida and Illinois held primaries for Republicans on Tuesday, and the U.S. territory of American Samoa held a caucus yesterday. Though we don't yet have those caucus results, we can say that the wins that incumbent President Donald Trump got in Florida and Illinois gave him the delegates he needed to clinch the GOP nomination. So he will once again be the Republican nominee for president.
You've seen them wearing funny hats and waving signs at national party conventions.
Delegates.
Delegate.
Delegates. Delegates.
Candidates covet them, but what exactly is a delegate? And why are they so important to the US presidential race? They come from all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and every US territory. Bigger, more popular states like California, Texas, Florida, and New York have more of them. For the most part, candidates win delegates through primaries and caucuses. While the rules vary from state to state, generally more votes means more delegates. This summer, thousands of delegates will come together at their national party conventions, where they declare their support for a specific candidate.
Ohio, Madam Secretary, cast all 188 votes for the president and the next president of the United States, Barack Obama.
In order to become the party's nominee for president, a candidate must receive a majority of these delegates.
An Italian virology professor says COVID-19, or the new coronavirus, has no border. But nations have been shutting down their borders to try to keep the thing from spreading from country to country. The governments of the United States and Canada announced yesterday that people will not be allowed to cross their shared border for tourism or recreation. So everything from sightseeing to ski trips will be affected by that. Cross-border trade will continue though. Supplies and goods will still be allowed to transfer between America and Canada. There are concerns in Washington, D.C. that the coronavirus pandemic could drag the U.S. economy into a recession, a period of economic decline. So Democrats and Republicans in Congress are discussing stimulus packages, plans worth hundreds of billions or even $1 trillion of government spending that are intended to stimulate the economy. Keeping small companies in business, encouraging Americans to spend and borrow money. This could be part of that. These plans are also hoped to calm investors in the U.S. stock market, which has seen wild swings in recent days. Increasingly, Americans are staying home from work. The nation's big three car makers, Chrysler, Ford, and General Motors, are reportedly planning to close all of their U.S. plants because of the coronavirus outbreak. And with scores of students out of school, they're finding themselves having to learn in a completely different environment.
So who's going to be in the class today?
The running list of school closings nationwide changes by the minute due to coronavirus. For the time being, the face-to-face school day has been replaced by e-learning. Many college students may be used to logging into school, but now online learning has become the norm for students of every age.
So we have 4 classes a day with 15 minutes in between each class and a 30-minute lunch break.
Sam Montag is 13. This is his first day attending 7th grade from his bedroom.
I think going online is a smart idea because we don't know when we'll be able to get back to school. No, 12 y 12.
Westminster School, a private K-12 in Atlanta, is trying to make online school as close to regular school as possible. So the day starts with homeroom, from home.
Just follow what I'm doing. Everyone's doing it.
Carolina Mars has been teaching French and Spanish classes for 8 years. For the past few days, she's been translating her classroom lesson plans into e-learning.
We've been working on learning how to order food and being open-minded about trying new foods. Field trips are completely out of the picture now. And so we are trying to change the focus of this unit to be, instead of ordering food, to cooking at home.
This is the first day she's wrangling her students from her dining room table.
And we have everyone in class. Applause, everyone made it. Très bien.
Control over the class is one thing that I just have to let go of. I'm not there, so I'm not going to have the same amount of control.
The obvious question, is this going to work? Online education has been around for a long time, but it's never been tested quite like this.
You know, there's that rule or that guideline that your attention span is only as long as your age in minutes. So for middle schoolers, we're talking attention span is usually 11 to 14 minutes max.
Dr. Lizette Acosta-Corniel has been teaching online classes for a decade. She also teaches in the classroom. She says preparing good online coursework takes time, something coronavirus didn't allow.
The education is going to suffer in the sense that the content might not be the same. The experience might be overwhelming for instructors, for parents, for students.
Temporada 1, temporada 2, 3.
Temporada 3.
So you don't think that 2020 spring semester is going to be a lost semester for students across this country?
Absolutely not. We might gain from this experience about preparedness, about having more services and programs for our students nationwide, have more accessibility, more technology, more support for digital humanities, and therefore have a vision forward.
Sam is learning a new way to be a student. His advice for his virtual classmates?
Just kind of remind yourself that you're still in class and that it is still school even though it's from your house.
Do you think that you can leave your students with the same kind of education that they would have if they were with you in the classroom?
Yes, I can probably cover everything that I need to cover, but education is so much more than what we cover in class. All extracurricular activities, robotics, all of that is part of a student's education.
Evan McMorris Santoro, CNN, New York.
10-second trivia. What is the fastest spinning planet in our solar system? Mercury, Earth, Jupiter, or Saturn? It's not only the biggest planet, scientists say Jupiter is also the fastest spinning. It completes a day in less than 10 hours. In Roman mythology, Juno was Jupiter's wife. So what? Well, Juno is also the name of the NASA spacecraft that was sent to study Jupiter in 2011. And you're looking at one of the photos that the $1.1 billion mission recently sent back to Earth. Jupiter may be a giant ball of gas, but it sure is pretty. And as a number of reporters put it, this picture can help get your mind off what's happening on Earth for the time being. Sad, turning your attention far away from home, making heads spin like Jupiter where only Juno roams. You don't have to be mercurial to want to make a change. Just Neptune in to a distant spacecraft range. It's a Marsing. And aside from Pluto, who would pen it? It lets us make puns like we didn't even plan it. Okay, that's enough of that. Today's show, our last stop is in Eagle River, Alaska, where we're happy to see the students of McKinley Heights School watching today. I'm Carl Azus for CNN.